Team is headed to summit Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania today. Now, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, in partnership with the Imbumba Foundation, will be sending off the group at the O.R Tambo International Airport this morning. Now, this annual expedition is aimed at raising funds to help young girls access sanitary towels. Our Morning Live producer, Nonzuzo Dlamini, is there. Very good morning to Nonzuzo. It's over to you.
A very good morning to you, Simpiwe. Indeed, we are broadcasting from O.R Tambo International Airport this morning, and I can tell you that the airport is already abuzz with excitement for these climbers. Now, this year's team comprises of about 17 climbers who will try to summit one of the highest mountains in Africa. We all know that this is not the easiest of things to do, but this team has decided to be part of this initiative, which really aims to raise funds for the Imbumba Foundation's Caring for Girls program, which really provides support and sanitary towels for young girls across the country who we know some of them cannot afford. But to tell us more about this program, we're now joined by the CEO of the Imbumba Foundation, Richard Mabaso. Richard, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, and a very good morning to your viewers, and more especially to our climbers that are about to set off to Mount Kilimanjaro.
Tell us about the atmosphere. I mean, already the airport is abuzz. How are the climbers feeling at this moment in time?
Well, look, I think this is a moment of mixed feelings where they either get excited but nervous at the same time. But look, it's all about the journey that they started from the day when they signed up, because for us it has been a journey that from September last year, every September or October each year we launch the expedition for the following year, and then from January it's preparations time until end of June. So they've been to the Drakensberg, they've been to Pretoria, Henops, they've been to Sekerbos, and they've been to the Westcliff Stairs. So I think for me the biggest thing is that beyond the preparations, it's all about getting together and creating new friends. And these people have been together for 6 months, and now they say it's very difficult to live without each other.
Now, Trek4Mandela was founded in 2012. Tell us more about how this initiative has grown over the years.
Look, when we started with SABC about 8 years ago now, we started, and it was not popular for people from, most especially from our society, to be climbing mountains because they thought it belonged to a certain sector of our society. But it has grown, because from just the two of us in 2012 to today, we're sending 44 people in total, which then means that people have realized that actually adventure mountain climbing, it's something that anyone from anywhere can do. But also, I think the biggest thing for me is that we've sent more than 200 people to Kilimanjaro, and these are just ordinary people. We always say that people that climb mountains are ordinary people with an extraordinary mindset. So we've sent a lot of people, but also with the support of the corporates, the individuals, we've been able to get support to more than 750,000 girls, which is incredible. And of course, the goal for this year is that by the time these guys come back, we need to have started working towards our ultimate goal for now, which is for 2019 is reaching 1 million girls. And next year, we want to double that to 2 million.
Tell us about how the unavailability of sanitary towels really affects young girls out there.
Look, and I think it sounds like a simple question. It's a very complicated question in that you get a lot of comments, people saying, yeah, but government is doing it now, but so-and-so is doing it now. All I want to say is that it will never be enough, because girls start menstruating for the first time each year, each day, each time. So it means that the need is great. And I did speak to a couple of people about, what next, or what must be done for us to actually reach a point where we say it's enough now. And there's absolutely nothing. We can never. All we can do is that we can continue to do what we can to make sure that we create availability for those who are struggling. But the biggest thing for me is that the lack of sanitary pads in South Africa, not only that it keeps girls away from school, but remember, even those who use a tissue paper, because as you and I are speaking right now, there is a girl who yesterday went to school, but they were using a newspaper. So I think for me, that is very dangerous in that they won't concentrate properly at school. So yes, they can go to school sometimes, but they're not there because they're not concentrating. They're worried about what's going to happen to them. So I think the challenge that we face as a country on sanitary pads and as the world, in fact, because as part of our climbers here, we have someone who comes from Australia, and she just told me that the government there has just signed an agreement that they will provide sanitary pads for free. But the constant challenge is that it will never be enough. So we are required in our own spaces from all over the country to do our bit to make sure that we make sanitary pads available to these young girls.
How is government assisting, do you think, with the availability of sanitary pads for those girls who cannot afford?
Look, the government, and I'm glad that we also have Department of Education from the province here, the government is doing what it can do. And I think for me, the reality is that even with the removal of the 15% VAT, as much as that is appreciated, but if you look at 15% of 10 Rand, it's 150 Rand. But that means that there is a girl who still does not have 8.50 Rand to buy a pack. So I think the government is doing its part, but we are required as society, as private sector, as NGOs, and as government to work together continuously towards finding possible solutions. And by the way, let me just add that we've moved from just providing sanitary pad. We do education. And last year we introduced what we now call the menstrual hygiene dialogues, where we get the boys as well. That's why you can see there are girls and boys, because we're saying that ultimately menstrual hygiene is not a women's issue. It's a societal issue. So we need to make sure that everyone in our society is aware, but also they understand their role in supporting each other.
Tell us more about the upcoming expedition, another one where I understand that you have invited the former public protector, Thuli Madonsela.
For me, that's, again, we always say that for us as Trek4Mandela, we are always grateful to each and every single person who comes and joins the expedition with one thing in mind, to help us amplify the message, to get the message across. And like you said, last year we were very much humbled to be approached by the former public protector, Professor Thuli Madonsela, saying that I want to climb a mountain because, so I went to meet with her and said, but Prof, I was really skeptical about saying just yes, because I'm like, but Prof, you are busy and then you have been doing this and that. And then she said something quite profound. She says, Richard, I want to climb this mountain because for me, lack of access to sanitary pads is a violation of human rights, and I represent human rights, and as an advocate who has been in the space whereby I had to continuously fight for justice, for human rights, for dignity, I would like to take on this challenge. So we're grateful, but it's happened since then. She's been with us at different trainings. We've been able to attract a couple of captains of industries, a couple of high-profile figures. So for me, it's humbling to see a person like the former public protector to be joining us. But what we also remind people is that for us, climbing Kilimanjaro becomes the ultimate equalizer. When you're on the mountain, it's one of the very few places in the world where when you're there, you are all equal. And we are all equal because you live on bare minimum. So I talked to
Richard, I'm so sorry. I have to cut you there. We've run out of time. But thank you so much for your time. Hey, that was Richard Mabaso, who is the CEO for the Imbumba Foundation, telling us more about the program, or this project, rather. We will continue with this broadcast. Do stay tuned. But for now, let's go back to Simpiwe in studio.
Nonzuzo, thank you so much. We'll certainly be touching base with you throughout the show.